What's going on, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of our state-ordered quarantine. We have a suggested best stay at home, not strictly mandatory, but my work actually shut down for 2 weeks, it's interesting because I work for a dealership, but I'm happy with our owner and his decision to do so. I think it was the right decision given all the cases in our state. But today, I am going to go over some new toys that I have for sim racing. Last weekend, I was stuck at home like everyone else, and I'm like, if I'm not going to be able to autocross anytime soon, might as well get back into sim racing. Why not now? So I went online, I ordered a new sim rig from Our Seat USA, a new computer from Newegg. It is VR capable, but I'm not going to be using VR just yet. And then I ordered a new G29. Few reasons. I wanted to get back into sim racing relatively cheap. I did buy an expensive sim rig because I know that will last me quite a while. The driving wheel, I used the G25 before, and I was plenty happy with it, with modified pedals, and I'll get to that in a minute. So eventually I plan on getting a Fanatec Club Sport, probably a belt-driven wheel rather than a gear-driven like the Logitech. But the last Logitech I had was plenty, and I did very well when I was doing iRacing. A few mods I went online to go get. I got them from Ricmotech. I got the Leo Bonnard brake cable, which goes from I believe it's an 8-bit resolution to a 10-bit resolution for your pedals. And I had this for my last setup, and I really liked how the biggest difference I noticed was with the gas pedal. It just made it a lot more linear, a lot smoother with your inputs, and it also makes your pedals a standalone feature rather than having to go through the wheel setup and then to the computer, because there are some firmware issues with the wheelbase that, especially with the G29, from what I've been reading with the brake pedal, it can mess with it a little bit. So I got that, and then I also ordered their brake pedal, load cell brake pedal mod. Reason I went with this is with my old setup, I had the Perfect pedal, and I loved it. And I emailed them, and I hadn't heard back if the new or if the Perfect pedal would work with the G29. I assume it will, but I was going to make that $200 investment to find out. So I ordered this one, which was about $120, I think. Go check them out. They have a lot of stuff for sim rigs, not just Logitechs, but for sim rigs out there. So I went with this one because it had a good price, and I've read really good things about it. So my computer isn't here yet. It shows up tomorrow. My sim rig doesn't show up till next Tuesday, but because I'm stuck inside for the most part, I figured it was a good time to actually do the modifications on the pedals while we're here. So if you want to stick around, we are going to put the load cell on the brake pedal. Alright, start by removing all these screws out of the bottom. Don't forget there are quite a few of them. After you do, the bottom lifts right out. I want to say there's 14 or 15 screws total, and then 12 for the base of the actual pedals. But once you get the base off, the pedals lift right out. So the screws come right out. You get one side out once you get to the other side, it does take a little bit of pressure, as you will see, to kind of relieve the tension so that it comes right out. But once it does, they tend to just move right out. The brake pedal is probably the hardest one of the three to do, mainly because the spring is just has so much tension to it. One thing don't forget is when you are doing this, so I made the mistake of putting the clutch and gas pedal springs in the wrong sides because it's upside down, and I was stupid and put them on the wrong side the first time. I fixed it before I buttoned it all back up, but just remember that. So take all the springs out, and don't forget the rubber bushing that Logitech puts in there now to hopefully increase brake pedal feel. Don't forget, these things are covered in grease, as you just saw me kind of wipe my hands. So I would suggest wearing some gloves with it. Use your needle nose pliers to remove the plastic cup that's in the bottom, because the new spring will have a rubber bushing that will go in there, as you can see right here. The spring was up in the spring pretty far, so I had to kind of feed it down so that it would make contact with the spacers in the bottom of the red cup. After that, drill the hole into the cup and feed the wires through. Now this is a G29 setup. If you have a 27 or 25, you do not have to drill the hole. It already has them in there. It's kind of nice. And then just kind of fold the wire over and feed the new piece in the bottom here. Make sure you line it up, otherwise it won't line up and the wire won't feed through the hole that you drilled. The hole is 3/16, and that allows you to get the wire all the way through. Once you do that, make sure you feed it in the bottom, through the bottom of the brake pedal. And as you will see right now, it will take quite an effort to get the cups to line up. Well, not line up, but get it to line up with the actual holes in the brake pedal. It does take some force, so don't be afraid to kind of manhandle it a little bit. Now, once you get it all back in there and you tighten the screws down, you want to reattach the wires to the circuit board that comes in the kit. They are labeled what needs to go where, yellow, black, and red. Once you get those back in there, you can put the brake pedal back in. Now I set mine on a box just because it helps. Gravity is the only thing holding those pedals in right now. So you feed it back in there, and once you do that, I reattached the ground wire first to the pedals, mainly because I laid out where I was going to put the circuit board. There's double-sided tape on it, and that allows you to stick it in the pedal box so it's not floating around freely. Once you get that attached, the wires that were attached to the potentiometer on the brake pedal actually get attached to the circuit board, which is a little different than the perfect pedal I had. If I remember correctly, I think it still used the potentiometer, or maybe it had a new one. I can't remember. But yeah, reattach those. These are also labeled what and where. And once you get that on, you can pull the double-sided tape. Off. And I stuck it right to the bottom of the case there. Once you do that, you want to make sure you get all the wires kind of out of the way. There are spaces for the original wires that clip in there, but the kit does come with zip ties, so you can zip tie the wires together and then also down to the other wires so that they kind of stay out of the way. Don't forget to clip off the extra zip tie. Also make sure your needle nose are sharp, because apparently mine aren't. As you can see here, the pedal movement on the brake is actually pretty short. It's pretty crazy how actually short it is. Well everyone, that is it for me today. As you can see, the pedals are done. The clutch spring is now in the gas pedal, and the gas pedal spring is in the garbage. And then the spring that was in the brake pedal is now in the clutch. And they feel so much better, as you can see by the foot video. As you also saw, I mean, look at the pedal travel. I mean, it hardly moves, which has me a little concerned that that's not normal. But I do remember my old pedal was like that too. So, that is it for me. It seems a little crazy to modify a pedal set before even using it, but I've kind of had this set up before, so I know it fairly well. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more sim racing content, and hopefully, once this all passes, some actual autocross content. So, race safe. Take care.